So hello everyone. In previous lecture we learned about class. Now we understood that a class is a blueprint or template. But let me ask you one question. Suppose an engineer create a blueprint of a house. Can you live inside the blueprint? So the answer is no. The blueprint is only a design. To live in it, the actual house must be built. Exactly the same thing happens in Python. A class is only a blueprint. To use it, we must create an object. So today we are going to learn what is an object and how to create an object and how object can store in memory. So what is an object? So an object is an instance of a class. Means instant and class. So now let's understand this. Suppose I have a blueprint of a car. The car itself is not a car. When the company manufacture one actual car, that actual car become an object. Similarly, student class like Priya, then object, then student class Aman, object, student class anything Ravi, object. So one class can create thousands of objects. In real life example, Samsung create one design. That design is the class. Now Samsung manufacture 10 lakh mobile phones. Then every mobile phones is an object. One class, many objects. Now one another example. Think about your college. There is one student class. Inside the college there are 1,000 students. Every student is an object. So now first we create a class. We already know that class keyword. Now inside the class type pass. Because we don't have anything inside yet, like class student, then pass. Now s1 equal to student. Now pay attention. This is most important line. On the left side I am creating a variable named s1. You can name it anything. Now on right side I am writing this student, then parenthesis. So notice this, the brackets. Whenever we write this student then bracket, so Python create a new object. This object is stored inside s1. Now if I want to print this, print s1. Now this is the complete program. So if I run this, the output will show this class main dot student. So this state output is completely normal. So Python is telling us that an object of a student class has been created. The hexadecimal number you can see is the memory address of that object. So every object gets is its own location in memory. So whenever we create another object, Python allocate another memory location. Now let's create one more objects. For example, student s2 equal equal to student, then s3 equal to student, so if I print all this, print s2, then print s3. So if I run this, the output will show the same line, means class, then main dot student, like this. So every object has a different memory address because they are different objects. So now if one class and three objects, exactly like one blueprint and three house. So now object, we want to check object identity. So we want to print id of each object. If I run this, the output will show in numbers. So these numbers may be different in your computer. So the id, this id, this is function return the identity of memory address of an object, since s1 and s2 and s3 are different objects, their ids are also different. Now if I want to create a new class, so class student, then pass it, then class teacher, then pass it, then s1 equal to student, then s2 equal to student, or t equal to like this. If I print all this, s1 print s2 t2, if I run this, the output will show the same. So two different objects, one belonging to student and the another belonging to teacher. Now many beginner thinks this s1 is the object. So no, s1 is only a reference variable. The actual object is created by this student. So always remember this. Now for example, think again, a blueprint is a house and class is object. Very easy. So now we understand that first one is class and object, but our object are still empty. They don't have name, age and marks or other any information. So how do we give to an object data? So the answer is through a constructor and the init method. That exactly what I learn in this lecture, and we will also understand that self keyword, which is most confusing topic. So let me ask you a simple question. Suppose I create a student object. Should that student have a name of course, and that student have an age, and should that student have marks? So absolutely. But right now our student object is empty, so the question is how do we give that data to an object when it is created? So the answer is constructor. So a, the definition of a constructor is so constructor is a special method that is automatically called whenever an object is created. That automatically called, these are the most important words. Suppose you buy a new mobile phone. The moment you switch it on for the first time, so the phone performance some the setups automatically. You don't manually call the setup function, so it happen automatically. Similarly, when an object is created, so Python automatically call the constructor. So we'll understood that self always refer to the current object and help each other object to its store its own data. Now the topic is instant variable and instant method. So before starting, let me ask you a simple question. Suppose there are three students, Rahul, Priya and Ravi. So can all three students have the same name? So no. Can all three students have a different age? So yes. So every student store their own information. Similarly, every object is store its own data. This data is called instance variable. Now what is instance variable? So an instance variable is a variable that belong to an individual object. So each object has its own copy of instance variable. Each object, because this is most important point. Imagine three student like Priya, name Priya, then age 18, then marks 95. Then Ravi, name Ravi, then age 19, then marks 90. So now notice every student stored different information. Similarly, every object is stored different values inside its instance variable. Now we will understand with a simple example. I create a class student, then def init, then self, self dot name equal to Rahul, then self dot age equal to 18, S1 equal to student, then print S1 dot name and print S2 or S1 dot age. So first we create a student class. Now create the constructor. Inside the constructor we write self dot name equal to Ravi, suppose, or like anything, Riya. So this create you first and instance variable. Now we write age, self dot age 18. So this create another instance variable. Now create an object. So s1 equal to student. So finally we print this and s1 dot age. So if I run this program, so the output will show this, Dia and age 18. So the name belong to s1 and age also belong to s1. So this variable are stored inside the object. Now instead of writing fixed value, let's take the value from the constructor. Suppose I write class student, then def init, and self name, then age. So self dot name equal to name and self dot age equal to age. So s1, now s1 equal to student, Riya, then age 18, or print s1 dot name and print s2 dot age, or s1 dot age. So if I run this, the output will show the same, Riya and 18. So now notice this time Riya was not written in the constructor. So inside instant it comes from this student, then this Riya 18. So Python automatically store Riya. So inside self dot name and 18, inside self dot age. Now we can create multiple objects like this. S2 equal to student, then Aman, 19, S3 equal to student, then Priya, 18. So print this S2 or S1 dot name, S1 dot name, and 9 S2, then S3. So in S2 dot S1 age, S2 age, then S3 age, name, then age. So if I run this, the output will show like this. So look carefully, each object store its own value, like Priya data and Priya data. So does not affect Aman data and does not affect Riya data. So this is the way we use instance variable. Now what is instance method? So let's understand instance method. So an instance method is a method that work with the data of an object. This instance method also means always taken the self as the first parameter. For example, if I remove all this and write there class student, so def init self comma name comma age and self dot name equal to name and self dot age equal to age, then def display self so print this name comma self dot name and print this age comma self dot age. So S1 equal to student and s1 display. So if I run this, so name is Rahul and age is 18 will be printed. So now notice something inside display. We access the self dot name and self dot age because display belongs to that object. Now create another object s2 equal to student like Priya, 19 s2 dot display like this. So now the same method and different object result different, so they will be printed. Now imagine every student has an ID card. Every ID card show the student details and not another student details. So similarly display also show only that object data, s1 then name equal to Rahul and age equal to 18, and s2 name equal to Priya then age equal to 19 or suppose anything. So each object has its own instance value. So we learn about instance variable and instance object method. Now we understood that every object has its own separated data, like Priya has its own name, Aman has its own name. So everything was different. But let me ask you a simple question. Suppose all students belong to the same college, for example any college xyz. So should we store this xyz inside every object? So the answer is no, because every student belong to the same college. Instead we should store it only once. That's it's where class variable. So come into this the picture. So we learn now we learn about what is class variable and why do we need class variable, and what is class method. So now first is what is class variable. So a class variable is a variable that belong to a class and is shared by all object of that class. So now the simple way, a class variable belong to the class, not to individual object. Every object share the same value shared by all objects. Now imagine a college. Every student has different name, age and roll number and anything. So these are instance variable, but college name is the same. Every student studies in this xyz college. So instead of storing college name and thousand times, so we store it so only once. That is called a class variable. For example, if I write class equal to student, then class student, then college so for example xyz, now def then init, so self comma name and self dot name equal to name. Now s1 equal to student by Priya, then s2 equal to student Riya. So if I print this, so s2 s1 dot name or print s2 dot college, s1 dot college. Then print s2 dot name, and second one is print s2 dot college. So if I run this, so the output is Priya xyz and Riya xyz. So now look carefully, this Priya has its his own name and Riya has its own name, but both students have the same college because college is a class variable, so it belongs to the class, not to any single object. Now another example, suppose all employee work in Google, then the company should be a class variable. For example, class, then employee, then company, equal to Google, then def init, dot name and self dot name equal to name. Now S1 or even for employees. Now employee is like Ravi and E2 equal to employee Aman then print even dot company and E2 also printed print E2 dot company. So if I run this self definite name so this Google will be printed. Now there are two ways. Method 1 using object like print s1 dot college, and the method 2 is using class name student dot college. So if we run this, the output will show xyz. So both are correct, but professionally class variable are usually accessed using the class name because they belong to the class itself. Now class method, let's understand class method. So class method is a method that work with the class variable instead of variable object variable. So why class method? Suppose you want to print college name, since college name belong to the class, so the method should also belong to the class. So this is called a class method. For example, class student then college equal to xyz, then class method then def show college CLS, then print college, then this dot college. Now student show college. If I run this, so the output will show college XYZ. Look carefully. Instead of self, we wrote this CLS. Why? Because this method belong to the class, not the object. So remember instance method, self, and then class method CLS. So what is this at the rate class method? So before we creating class method, we write this at the rate then class method. So this is called the decorator. It tell Python that the following method belong to the class. For example, I create a class employee, then company, equal to Microsoft, and then at the rate class method, and then def company, and then name CL class, and then def or print this CLS dot company and employee dot company name. So if I run this, the output will show Microsoft. Now suppose every employee work in Microsoft. If Microsoft changes its company name, do we change it? So inside every employee, so no, we change it only once inside the class variable. Immediately every employee get the update value. So that the biggest advantage of class variable. Now a common mistake, mistake one, creating college name using self.college. This is wrong, because college is common. So correct that college equal to then XYZ. Now mistake number 2, using self inside class method. So this is wrong, the correct is CLS this. Now mistake 3. So forgetting this at the rate class method. So without it, Python will treat the method as a normal instance method. Now the question is, what is a class variable? So a class means a variable shared by all objects. Now you know the difference between the data that belong to an individual object and data that belong to the entire class. But there another type of method that is even more interesting. Sometimes we want to create a method that does not need object data or class data. It simply perform a utility task. So for that, Python provide static method. So now we learn what is static method, and so mm, we learn about in previous we learn about class variable and class method. Now we understood that class variable belong to the class, and class method belong work with class variable using this CLS parameter. Now let me ask you a simple question. Suppose I want to calculate the area of rectangle. Do I need object data? So no. Do I need class data? No. So I only need the length and breadth. Similarly, suppose I want to display a welcome message. Do we need object data? So no. Do we need class data? Again no. So should we create an instant method or a class method? So no. So Python provide another type of method such as situation. That method is called static method. Now what is static method and why do we use it, and is at the rate static method, what is it? So now what is static method? So a static method is a method that belong to the class but does not use object data or class data. So now I'll repeat all again. A static method does not use self or this CLS and does not use self or CLS. This is the most important point. Now imagine a calculator. If I want to calculate 10 plus 20, do you need a student object? So no. Do you need a car object? So no. You simply perform the calculation. Similarly, static method perform the same task that are independent of the particular object. So the static method perform the task are independent of any particular object or class state. So Now exactly uh, we create a class like class, then student, at the rate static method, then def welcome, then print welcome to Python. Oops. So now student dot welcome. So if I run this, the output will show welcome to Python. So look carefully. This is no self. There is no this class. The method simply print a message. This is called a static method. So why this we add this at the rate and static method? So before creating a static method, we write this static at the rate static method. This is decorator. This decorator tell Python that is following method is a static. Now let's create another example. Class calculator, at the rate static method, then def 8ab print sum equal to then a plus b. Calculator dot add 10 plus 20 10 comma 20. So the output will show sum is 30. So now notice carefully, the method receive only a and b. So there is no self, there is no this CLS method, because this method does not need object class, object data or class data. Now for example, class rectangle, then at the rate static method, then def area length breadth or print this area equal to length into breadth into breadth. Now rectangle dot area 10,5. If I run this, the output will show this 50. So now one more example, simple greeting like this. Class of a college then at the rate static method then def greeting and then print hello, then college greeting. If I run this, so the output will show hello. Now when should we use each method? So this is very important. Suppose you want to display student name, use instant method because a name belongs to the object. Suppose you want to display college name, use class method because college belongs to the class, and you want to calculate GST, percentage, area, interest, or simply print a welcome message, so use static method. Now let's combine this everything in a one code like class class student then college equal to XYZ, then def init self comma name and self dot name equal to name. Now def display this self. Now print name or self dot name, comma, so at the rate class method, now def show college CLS print college comma CLS dot college and at the rate stay static method def welcome now print welcome everyone. Student then Ravi and S1 dot display then student dot show display or no college and student welcome now if run it, so name Ravi, college XYZ, so welcome everyone. Now the same class contain instant method, class method and static method. This is how professional Python programmer are write. Now a common mistake can make everything. So mistake number 1, writing this def welcome self, so this is wrong. Static method does not use self. And mistake number 2, writing this def welcome CLS, so this is also wrong. Static method does not use this CLS dot. Now if you forgetting at the rate static method, without it Python treat the method as an instant method. So now you know all the 3 types of method in OOPS: instant method, class method and static method. So this is very important topic. Now we'll learn about encapsulation. So what is encapsulation and public members?